Hi, I'm Jennifer Parrott, and I am the founder of Locks in Maine. I started L&M back in 2015 after years, I should say decades, of wearing extensions and struggling to find methods that were cost-effective, the least damaging, and the most natural method, and unfortunately it just didn't exist. When I first had the idea to start Locks in Maine, I wanted to start small and test and make sure that I actually had a viable concept. So we started in a little tiny, I think it was about like 80 square feet, 100 square feet space in a women's gym. Funny enough, the first month or so there was nobody, but by month 2 and month 3, people couldn't get appointments, and we ended up moving into our brick and mortar within 6 months. So what's really interesting about that is our method that we offered initially was a semi-permanent method that would last anywhere from 1 to 3 months. It would take an hour to install, and we used no heat, chemicals, or glue. So after a while, we had customers coming in looking for clip-in hair extensions, and it's not something that we offered, but we had the hair, we were able to source the clips, and I know how to sew a little bit. So I started hand making them, and what was really unique, because if you've worn extensions before clips, you know, they come in 8 to 10 pieces, some small pieces, some larger. They're kind of difficult and challenging for somebody who's new to extensions to put them in their head. So I thought, you know what, let's make it easy. Let's put them into just 2 pieces, a small piece that kind of goes at the nape of your neck, and then a larger piece that can wrap temple to temple so that it's really full in the front. So we started sewing them, and it's actually funny because it wasn't by design initially. I actually sewed the clips upside down, and I thought, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to cut them all out and re-sew it. But then I thought, you know what, wait a second, let me try this. And I tried it, and it was incredible, because instead of having to back comb and make sure that it stayed in place, it was so secure, it laid so flat, and within like 5 minutes I forgot I was actually wearing them. So that, we always say like that's intentional, the design, but technically when I started it wasn't intentional. The other amazing thing about our clips is we've got 3 little micro clips on each side, so 6 in total, so that it doesn't tug on the baby hairs and the weight's really evenly distributed. So there's 3 larger clips in the center, and then there's 3 micro clips on each side. And we actually got to the point where we were hand sewing like 6, 7, 8 a day, and they were taking about an hour to sew each set. So that's when we realized, okay, we should get these made to our specifications and start testing it in retail settings. And we just had such phenomenal response from customers saying that they were so easy, they match so well, and that we kind of took the headache out of it. And the biggest thing is not having to back comb, because as you know, when you back comb, you can actually break the hair. So it's really nice that ours are the most secure and the least damaging. I always say the most natural. The other reason why they're so natural looking, we have 13 shades, and many of them have highlights, lowlights. They're very multi-dimensional, which helps with the blend. And I'll show you a little bit later on Alex, our model's hair, and you'll see that it's got lowlights in there. It really picks up and looks natural. I find if you wear clip-in extensions, and if you go with a really flat color and your hair is multi-tonal, it's a dead giveaway. You can tell right away when somebody's wearing extensions if it's not, you know, either a bang-on match, or at least if there's not natural highlights and lowlights throughout. So, and what's really great is our hair is actually the most ethically sourced hair. It's Indian temple hair, and it's Remy's. That means it's thick from root to tip. You'll see a lot of extensions sometimes, and they start out really thick, and by the time you get to the bottom, they're really fine and thin on the ends. That's what's really great about ours, is they're thick root to tip, and they make for a very natural looking hair extension. So our clip-in extensions currently come in 2 lengths. We have our 12-inch length, which falls kind of like shoulder length, collarbone, a really nice lob, if you will, a long bob, and then our 18-inch length, which falls kind of like mid-rib cage. That's what I have on now. What's really nice about the 2 lengths is if somebody is looking and they've got quite short hair, say like chin length, instead of having to buy the long length and cut it to blend, they can actually go with the shorter length. And depending on how short their hair is, we say you have to have about 3 inches of hair, 3 to 4 inches of hair for it to blend pretty seamlessly. And then we recommend taking it to a stylist and having layers put in there, and probably chopping it a couple of inches for a really seamless blend. The other thing that's important to note is thickness. So if the customer has really thick hair naturally and they're going for length, then you need to make sure that you have enough hair. Sometimes they'll need, 2 sets in order for it to look really, really natural. And if the customer's hair is quite thin, it doesn't really matter. You'll just need the 1 set and it'll still blend really seamlessly, whether or not they're just looking for volume and not the length, or if they're looking for that length. So it's just a matter of kind of getting to know the customer and find out what it is that they're looking to achieve. If it's for a special event, they want the length, just make sure if their hair is thick that it's enough hair to blend really seamlessly. It's really important when you are color matching that you actually match with the ends of the hair. So typically, I think everyone thinks that they're gonna try to match with the roots, but don't do that because oftentimes your roots are much darker than the ends, and that's where you have to get a really, really seamless blend. So what's really great is you can either match with our shade swatches, or with our packaging. It's really great because you can actually hold up the cube and you can see the different shades and highlights and lowlights, and you can match it outside of the package as well, which is a really great feature. A great trick I always like to tell our customers is when you get the hair home, if you want to put them on a pant hanger, it's very scary when you look in your closet and see hair hanging there, but it's so effective because it holds its style, and whenever you're ready to go out, you can quickly clip them in and be ready in a flash. So I always like to store mine on a pant hanger in the closet. You can put them back in their box, but we just always say store in a cool, dry place. The other tip on maintenance and washing. So I say to wash every 4 to 6 weeks. I should probably take my own advice. I actually wash mine probably every 2 to 3 months. I should wash them more. A good indication is when they start to feel dry. That's when you know it's time to give them a wash. Make sure that they are not attached to your head when you're washing them. Take them out and wash them in your sink. Cold water is great. Don't use a ton of shampoo, just a little bit, and then lather up the conditioner. The only real tip is don't use anything with oils. It's great if you can find something sulfate-free, but the big one is just don't use any oils. Really lather the conditioner, rinse them, and then I just hang them to dry. Or another pro tip, you can put them in the drawer in your bathroom. I have to kind of hold it with my knee when I've done that, and then you can round brush them or wand them. You can style them that way, and then I hang them on my pant hanger and they're ready to go. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly show you our clips and how they look. And again, remember, I'm actually gonna show you how to install them on a customer in a minute, but I just wanted to give you sort of a sense of how they look. So this is the smaller piece that I say that I like to wear the nape of my neck, but you can actually put it closer to the crown as well. Now, some people say they like it because it adds volume there. I prefer it a little bit lower, but again, I have finer hair, so when I clip my extensions, and I'll show you, but I do kind of a deeper U instead of straight across. And then this is the larger piece. And these are the 3 little micro clips that I was talking about, the baby clips, and then these are the larger clips. And they're just the tensored clips that you apply a little bit of pressure on the end. You hear that snap, and you know that it's in place. And when we put them in, I'll show you, but we call it the shimmy, scoop, and snap. And that's how you get them in really securely. Once you make your part line, you take the clip, you kind of shimmy it, scoop it, and then snap it shut. And I'll show you, again, a live demonstration on how they go in. But these are our clips. And the other great feature is if you are just going out running errands and you just want to put one piece in, it's fantastic. It just gives a really natural look. And then if you're going out and if you want that extra, you can put the other piece in. I mean, I always wear 2, and then I'm cheating. I wear some in my ponytail as well. So you can wear as little or as much as you'd like. So the other great feature is because they are human hair, you can actually dye them. If you're somebody that likes to go back and forth between colors, you or your stylist can dye your extensions to match. You can also use any hot tools that you'd like. You don't have to worry about them singeing or catching fire because they are human hair, so you treat them exactly as you would your own hair.